Hey, Strange Entertaining here. Before we start the video, I just have to say that my video capture software kind of messed up in the beginning, but I did eventually fix it about around the 12-minute mark. So that is when the normal video that you are used to seeing will resume. But until then, I'm going to put a picture and a waveform, and maybe that'll make it just ever so slightly more interesting. Do listen to the podcast, though. This is a pretty good one. We had a good time watching Mike Tyson's Mysteries, and thank you so much for understanding.
Did you scare your cat? Remember this intro too.
No.
Okay. It's okay. We didn't do an intro last week, so you good.
Hell yeah, man.
I don't know what we did.
Fuck the team.
I mean, we did an intro. I was like, yeah. I did an intro, and I did the outro to the best of my abilities.
And let's go to the mystery machine. Not mystery machine. The mystery van.
Like dodging copyrights. Left and
definitely.
Right.
Exactly that. Exactly that. Welcome to Content Breaker. He's Kai. I'm Kelz. We're joined, of course, by Strangely Entertaining and Zogboy himself. This week we're talking about one of my favorites for the fact that I've watched it for 10 episodes. But it's a vibe. It's a vibe. It's a vibe. It's Mike Tyson Mysteries. Gentlemen, how are you?
Hydrated.
My brain hurts.
Well,
my brain also hurts.
You don't it's like, how do you expect and not expect Mike Tyson? That is a perfect encapsulation of what the show is.
I mean, I do feel like I just got punched in the face. So
watching the intro, I didn't skip the intro at all, which I wanted to, but I just couldn't. I was entranced because I'm like, everything about this, I feel like is 100% something he would do. Like 100%.
Being chased by Ramiel, the angel from Evangelion, and a pterodactyl, and fuck it, man.
Beating up the Grand Master of a chess match because you confused him with the Grand Wizard of the KKK.
Who doesn't, man? Who doesn't?
I'm surprised. I'd be surprised if that didn't actually happen.
I felt like it did. Like I said, I feel like most of this is coming from a place of reality and sincerity, much like this podcast.
Most probably.
I'm not in the Matrix?
Oh. All right.
I am in the Matrix.
Let's define, if it's possible, Mike Tyson Mysteries. So Mike Tyson Mysteries is produced by Warner Brothers Animation for Adult Swim. So it's a whole ass qualified production.
Yeah.
And it gives the same kind of art style and vibe as your Scooby-Doo, of course, but also your kind of Johnny Quest. It's in the same kind of era that gives you that vibe.
When I first saw anything about this, I thought it was from the 80s because it had a celebrity coming out, it being the front runner of a show. It felt like it was from that era, and it looked like it was from Hanna-Barbera.
Yeah, I got the Hanna-Barbera vibe.
It was strangely on point, I think. I'm like, this is literally Scooby-Doo. This is exactly what they did.
It was very indicative of the times, man.
Not for kids.
Yeah, it was very indicative of the time frame that it was in. I was like, wow, we narrowly dodged the cancel culture, but rode the wave of the extreme culture. So
did it?
I mean,
I feel like probably.
It only dodged it because not a whole lot of people are watching it.
Only dodged it because who's going to come to Mike Tyson and start some stuff?
But equally, it's Adult Swim. There's a certain amount of edge and rudeness by virtue of the cast. So not only do we have Mike Tyson as Mike Tyson, we also have Pigeon, a literal pigeon, because that's kind of Mike Tyson's gimmick. Not only is he a world champion boxer, he also loves pigeons. Voiced by Norm Macdonald.
Yeah, which is that was wild for me. That I was like, okay, so we have this iconic voice in the world like being this most vulgar pigeon. Like, and it's always the animals / the auxiliary character that isn't human. Like, you know, Roger the alien, Klaus the fish, Brian the dog, all those characters, like, who just like always are wilding out. And the pigeon carried that whole trope very strongly by being a sex addict.
I don't. Yeah, that's one thing I don't really understand, but I attribute it to the same kind of thing of, oh, just change the color of the blood and suddenly it's not as gory. It, for some reason, if it's not a human being doing those things, it's just a fun little character, just a quirky character, not a wretched human being.
Yeah.
It kind of gets explained, and like I jumped around a lot just because I'm like, oh, it's episodic, it's whatever, so I could just go. A little bit later, they do kind of try to explain it.
His wife turned him into a pigeon because she was mad.
Because he cheated on her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a story for the first 10 episodes. And
that was a story.
It's met the father-in-law from Nicaragua, and he was like, oh, that's my son-in-law, the pigeon. What happened? And this is like, oh, she got mad. Like, oh, you'll work it out. That's set up. That's what it is. But no, I feel like I really enjoyed Norm Macdonald in this kind of role, especially with more exposure to the comedy than like if we look at him in his unfortunate last role with Klaus. You know, he was the boatman in Klaus, and he was like fun comic relief, but he was only kind of there. And in this kind of show, he's really like a featured part of the comedy, which is kind of the point of the show. Is it's supposed to be funny and
Did you say that was his last role?
Klaus was his last role.
Yeah, he died September 14th, 2021. So,
yeah.
Like we talked about that in Klaus too, but still, damn, like,
Definitely.
just, like that's still one of those things where I'm just like, wow. Like every day I'm just like, man, I like the other day I shot something in the garbage and I was like, Kobe, and I was like, shit. And I was just like, it's life's crazy, man. It's wild. So, luckily we still got Akon. So, yeah. Then Bam saying sorry is gonna feel really weird after that. That's all I'm saying.
You're right.
I'm gonna have to be like, forgive me.
But definitely really enjoyed Pigeon, the character, you know, with it just being Norm Macdonald as like Norm Macdonald in bird form, you know, and all the peril and struggle that comes with that.
Yeah.
Like, man, I can't eat pancakes. I just get diarrhea from them all the time. So I have to eat this bird seed.
Man,
you know what?
Let's talk about this
pancake.
Bird Sex, the song, man.
Oh my God. That's
from like the first or second episode.
Yeah, it was the first episode. It was, oh my God. Mike Tyson is
man.
I'm not even gonna sing it because like I can't. But just the whole
can't get the register.
I don't want none of this bird sex. I want to fly free.
I don't think that's the song. Yes, it is. This is the song. This is the word. Now it goes. Like,
and then the fucking horseman singing it at the end.
Yeah. Like,
we'll get to the comedy.
Yeah.
My God.
And then we got the ghost man who is like doesn't want to admit that he's gay, but it's very much gay.
Again, jumping around.
You sure he's not just British?
No, he's no. No.
Yo, I love that Marquise of Queensberry is literally the father of modern boxing.
That's what's up. I didn't know that.
And he's called Marcus by fucking Mike Tyson because that's kind of the joke.
Yeah.
But Marquise is a title. He's actually named as John Douglas, the 9th Marquise, or Marquis of Queensberry.
Queensboro. Is that in Tallahassee, Tennessee?
But that's fucking England, chief.
That sounds like an American place that we'll just take the name of and make it a street.
He was born in Florence, Italy. But yes, definitely. You know, this kind of character that's important to boxing and is also dead and is also like a character definitely fun.
It just seems like the kind of thing Adult Swim would look at and just be like, yeah, we can make a joke out of that.
Yeah.
I mean, sorry.
No, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, speaking of jokes, they do a really good job of actually like setting something up like at the beginning of the episode and then following through
Paying it
later, like
off.
every single time. I was like, how does this always get me? Like,
I just when we get into that, I know which episode. Like the plot mirror episode was crazy. We'll get into that. That's wild. We'll get into that in a second. But we got one more character we gotta get through.
Of course, our last character of the mystery squad. Man, that's on me. I don't know what they're actually called. Mike Tyson's mystery team. Young-hee Tyson, which is apparently some Korean girl that was dropped off on Mike Tyson's doorstep as a child, and then he homeschooled her.
And she's a genius, which is ironic.
And she's the Velma of this crew.
Kind of, maybe. No one's really the Velma. It's like she's
not the best
only one
mystery
with
team.
common sense.
Okay,
I'll put it that way.
They're their own archetypes, but she's the smart one and or straight man to everyone else's insanity.
Pretty much. That's
meh.
I would say the ghost is the smart man. I'd say Lung. It messes me up because Mike Tyson messed up her name. Like, I'm like, this is your own daughter, and you can't pronounce her name.
Have you heard him speak?
Young-hee.
Young-hee.
So her name is Young-hee. So on the point of have you heard Mike Tyson speak, that's kind of the running joke with everything. So in the first episode, I think it's the first episode, where they're like, this great author, something, and he just continually mispronounces this motherfucker's name.
Yeah,
Of course.
It's wonderful.
it's pretty cash money if I do have to say so. But yeah, no, Young Chi, it's just she's like out here. What's the face for?
Young Chi.
I said it wrong. Young Lee, right?
Fuck, did you even look at the wiki?
This is gonna be progressively worse.
Young-hee.
Young Hee. There we go. Yeah, Young Hee.
Voiced, of course, by Rachel Ramses.
Yeah.
Ramrus.
Ramrus.
I completely butchered
Did you
that,
even look at
but-
the wiki?
No, yes, which is the problem.
But Young's character is literally so it's funny because she has aspirations and goals, and just her dad. Also shout out to her. I love her and Mike Tyson's relationship because I literally believe he has a Korean daughter in real life. He might. I'm I need to fact check this because this relationship feels oddly wholesome, and just the things there's this one scene where she gets a message from. It's the IBM episode where they get a message and it comes in binary code and she reads it and Mike Tyson's I can't read this, it's in computers, and so Young's oh, I can read this, and then he's you can read this, why didn't you tell me that you were a robot? You should have told me. I love you no matter what happens. I'll always be here for you.
Let your freak flag fly, R2D2.
Again, a conversation I fully believe actually happened.
I know. I'm just oh my gosh, that was the perfect encapsulation, of the relationship between Mike Tyson and his daughter, and I'm just I can't
in that same vibe. Go ahead.
I would say that was the other thing I noticed was that characters don't just say funny one-line little quips. They keep going and going and going. I'm oh my gosh, this is so many lines back to back. Why didn't you tell me? I don't understand. Does that mean one time we went to this author or we went to out in the desert and I just it just keeps going. It's I'm wondering how long it could go on for.
And that's the best part. That's kind of why the comedy really works, is because it's these one-liner stuff, but they keep the repetition of the callbacks, you know.
Yeah.
It really engages the mind. It expects something of you. It challenges you. And in not a way that you can't like commit, you know. It's because you are paying attention that you catch the joke and it's funny. And that kind of makes you want to continue to pay attention. And that's like kind of how this comedy functions. It's not just like vomit, puke, gags. It's like, hey, we're going to fucking say words to you. And in like 7 minutes, we're going to say words to you again and expect for you to comprehend what we're saying from previous. And that's kind of the fun part about it.
Yeah. We're the kids of America, bro. Like,
whoa.
Yes.
So, Jimmy Neutron or Digimon?
It didn't rely on gross out humor, which I thought was
Damn it.
fairly interesting. Like, not gross out. It did kind of like, oh, I get the joke. Like, haha. It wasn't like, oh, look, bleh.
Which it was kind of incredibly violent.
Yeah.
Yes, no,
Like
that
it did show blood.
blood.
But, you know, definitely.
I did see him punch out a T-Rex.
I'm so sad I didn't make it to that point, but where I did, it was pretty wonderful. One other thing on the callback about the humor with like Young Hee, when they were like they got the thing in Chinese and it was kind of like a hey, come help us build this trench in Nicaragua, and Mike Tyson was like, Young Hee, read this for me, and she's like, I'm Korean, Dad. And he's like, it's kind of China. And then it plays in later. Well, one, fucking Pigeon can read Chinese because Norm Macdonald is a fucking lunatic.
Yeah.
And two, it plays on later to the gag about they're both speaking, like her and the chairman are both speaking English to each other. And Mike Tyson's like, it's the language barrier, man. Tell him I want to say this. And she just fucking says it in English. And he's like, and then it's back and forth. And he's like, what did he say? It's just the same shit in English. It's like, tell him this. No, wait, I don't want to say that. You know, it's just like,
it's so wild. And then there was the episode where, there was like the chainsaw murder. And freaking so Mike Tyson was more preoccupied with getting his freaking endorsements out. And he's so he invites his like kind of like agent or salesperson to the scene of the like murder, like mystery. And then Ghost the whole time was like, yo, this is out of our hands. Like this person, like their
we gotta call the police.
Yeah, this appendage, because this person's appendage, it's in their mouth. And every time they keep going into the room to look at the body that's off screen, like Pigeon keeps describing it. He's like, oh my God, like where are his hands? They're in his butt. Like, they're just like
his stomach's in the drawer.
His male part is in his mouth. Like, oh my God.
Oh God, it's terrible.
He's like, why don't we send the dead guy in here? And then his agent comes to the house and he's like, hey, man, what y'all doing? And then Mike Tyson's like, hey, man, we kind of need the keys to his study. Can you go in and get it? And then the guy's like, yeah, I'll go. Gives he like a sleep or something? Like, yeah, or something.
Yeah,
so the agent watched it. He said, oh, God, who did this? What?
Hell no. Hell no.
He said, oh, hell no. Like, what? And you're just sitting there, and the whole time the wife is like traumatized. Oh my God. And then like
and then the very end of the episode.
Yeah, when he's like, oh, you need the fax number? Let me call the widow. Hi, Mrs. Whatever. I'm gonna put you on speaker to tell what's his bucket the fax number.
And she's like hiding under the bed while the expert's back in the house giving them the fax number. She's like, can you come here? He said, yeah, we'll be in a second. We just gotta wait for it to verify. Like the ghost is like, God, someone please call the police. We're not cut out for this.
Let alone the gag in this singular episode about him wanting Coslow hummus.
Yeah, like, oh my God.
He's like, Coslow. He's like, we get some more hummus.
And they get to the location. He's like, I have a very serious question for you. Can I put my hummus in your fridge? Like to the widow who just lost her wife. I'm just like,
is your fridge?
And that's why they end the episode. They saved the woman from the axe murderer's house, and they end this episode at fucking Coslo's parking lot.
Yeah.
To get more hummus.
And then the pigeon looks at her. He's like,
"Gotta get your hummus."
Then the pigeon looks at her, and he's like, "I'm a sex addict." And their face is black. I'm just like, oh gosh,
man.
That honestly,
yeah.
I think this is a much later episode because I skipped around. I think me and Static watched it.
Nope, I don't want to
pilot. You don't want to talk about that one? I do.
That is.
I want to have a Mike Tyson
I want to hear it.
story.
I haven't seen this. Come on,
Strange. Make sure you do it justice when you're talking about it. That's all I'm gonna say.
You might have to help because I can't tell a story with you. So.
Okay, so the pilot.
Tell me the story.
Okay, so this episode is probably the most chaotic episode of anything I've ever watched in my animation life. Like, no exaggeration.
Oh, fuck.
So Mike Tyson Mystery gets hired by a job from a pilot who is calling. So basically, he's like a pilot. He's in flight. And first of all, he just says screw everything and lands the plane wherever, however, like runs off. He's like, I got an appointment. I got to get to it. And this Mike Tyson Mystery's there and meets him at the airport. He's like, are you Mr. Stevenson? He's like, yeah, I've got an issue. That's why I hired you guys. I'm like, well, what's the issue? He was like, well, I'm a traveling pilot and me and my wife have all these complications and everything. So I'm trying to space off our relationship. And I send her videos of me, pleasuring myself and all that because I want her to find me sexy. But, her name is Nina. And I accidentally send it to Nona, my mother-in-law. And they're like, whoa, that's crazy. And they're like, but the twist is my mother-in-law thinks it was for her and she's turned on by this and wants to get with me. And then Mike Tyson's like, no, that's crazy. He's like, well, wow. First of all, we just got to let your wife know that, he hadn't responded yet. So he was like, well, we just got to let your wife know that you want her and you find her arousing. So he sends this thing. It's like, I want you. I've always wanted you and blah, 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 blah. And then they accidentally send that to Nona because the names are so close. And she's like, I've always wanted you to, like, let's get it on. And then Mike Tyson's like, here, I'll text, because Ghost was the person who texted that to his, Mike Tyson texted that to the grandmother. Yeah. So the Ghost is like,
hey, actually, I'm not into you, but
I'm not into you at all sexually, like, or any type of that. It was a mistake. Like, and the Ghost texts that to his wife, Nina.
Yeah.
So she gets the message and she starts freaking out. She's like, I gotta be more sexy for him. So she puts on this like wardrobe and everything. And the whole time, the Nona, the grandmother's like, yo, like, I have options now. I have a younger love interest. So she tells the grandfather, hey, I'm leaving you. I'm having an affair with a younger man, and we send each other pictures and sext and do all this. And he's like, oh no. So he has a heart attack. And she looks at him and watches him die and kicks away his heart medicine and watches him die. And she's like, I never loved you. So
she straight up murders him.
Well, not murders, but gives him a heart attack and then doesn't assist him. So assisted murder, if you will. Yeah, no, it's pretty wild. So
that ain't how that works.
So then from there, the wife's trying on all these outfits, like in her lingerie with just a pilot's jacket. It's like, oh, I'm gonna be sexy. And then the pilot finally texts back the grandmother, Nona, hey, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to send that to you. I didn't mean to do this, blah, blah, blah. I love my wife. And she's like, oh no, I've already killed my husband. And then she's like, he's got to pay because the grandmother's crazy. And she gets her Glock and drives to the house. But she sees her daughter trying on the pilot outfit, being all sexy, and mistakes that for him, and then shoots her daughter, killing her daughter. And then Mike Tyson Mystery Groups pulls up with the pilot, and they're like, what's going on? And the mom's like, oh no, what have I done? Baby, no, I'm sorry. And she's like, oh no, I'm joining you. And then shoots her brains out. And the pilot's like, what's going on? And Mike Tyson's like, that's crazy. I mean, but your problem's kind of resolved though, so I think it sucks for you, but and then, so the daughter's dead, and the mother's dead, and then it's like, thank you for using Mike Tyson Mysteries. I know you had a lot of choices with this, but we gotta make it like in the van, and the pigeon's like, his wife is so hot. Did you see those videos? They drive off, and then it cuts to black, and then at the end post credit, you see the pilot show up to like the in-laws' house, and he's like, "Hey, Mitch, our plan worked." And the grandfather works up. It's like, "Really? We can be together?" And they start making out.
What?
I was like, this is the most chaotic. It was 10 minutes that felt like 12 hours. I was like, yo, if I am showing any episode of Mike Tyson Mysteries to anybody, it's that episode. And like Mike Tyson Mysteries got like submitted in like my, okay, this is like a whole new level category. Cause it was just, it was wild. And I was like, Jesus.
I had to stop there though. I was
and
like,
just
I can't.
my favorite thing about that episode was how much its mystery group was like, this is not our problem. They're like, yeah, whatever. And then they're like, we're still getting paid, right? They're like, oh yeah. And then just drove off into the sunset. And like, I'm like, the wife's dead, the mother's dead. Like I'm like, it's crazy. Like, this is crazy.
It's so weird.
That's fucking wild.
It is wild. It's one of the wildest things that I feel like I've watched recently. It's crazy.
Wow.
I'm just so mad I didn't make it there.
Aren't we all? But yeah, no, Mike Tyson Mysteries is a definite, like, it's weird because it's like adult.
It sounds like a trip.
It's like adult Scooby-Doo that you can't watch in public. Like, I mean, I guess you can watch adult Scooby-Doo
you like
in public.
actually can't watch it.
Yeah.
You cannot. Because
And like 9 times out of 10, like they don't even solve the mysteries. They just like canonically solve themselves. And you're like,
I mean, nah, what fun would that be?
yeah, it's just, it's a wild ride. Like,
Man.
seeing
oh yeah, I guess we were supposed to get his wife a present. Let's just get her a gift card.
Oh yeah, that was that. And then the whole thing with the freaking IBM, where it's like the head of IBM is an android and controlling other people with like other people's brains. Like that episode was wild.
Man, and the one when they murder Buzz Aldrin, and the mystery is not whether they kill astronauts or it's whether they kill astronomers.
Yeah, it's just like, man, yeah, no, like Mike Tyson Mysteries is a fun, out of the blue ride that I feel like was definitely, it belonged in the peak of Adult Swim, I gotta say. Like back when Adult Swim was like rocking with like, you know, all the other shows, Venture Brothers.
I mean, so 67 seconds before we get into those. How do you feel in comparison from one to another between Mike Tyson Mysteries and Jackie Chan Adventures in terms of like quality celebrity animation?
I feel like they're both low key fire, like a masterclass in both of it. Like, I felt like this really encapsulated Mike Tyson's mysteries, like Mike Tyson as a person. And it seems like something he will authentically do. Like Zog said, I could see him saying a lot of this stuff for being like experienced from his real life. And Jackie Chan Adventures, like, you know, like I felt like that was, I didn't know Jackie Chan's like personal life because he wasn't as open about it as Mike Tyson was, but the Jackie that I saw in the movies, like, and all that, I felt like that was authentically him. Mm. And then like in episodes where he's like out here like giving the messages to the kids and like training and all that stuff, I was like, yo, that's like Jade asking him questions. I was like, this is freaking fire flame. I felt like that was done really well. I feel like both of these were done a lot better than like, what was the other show where someone had their life like depicted, like
Hammer Time? Or
what do you mean?
Hammerman.
There was a Hammerman animated series with
maybe
MC Hammer. There was one with what's his face? He was a wrestler who tried to make it in Hollywood. That's
Hulk
not
Hogan?
The Rock. Hulk Hogan.
Yeah, that was.
There was one about
trash.
Hulk Hogan. There was like I said before, in the 80s, there was a bunch of like, here's a celebrity. There's a cartoon about them.
Yeah, no, a lot of those are trash.
But yeah, like from what I understand with this one and with Jackie Chan Adventures, they're more going with like references, but still trying to make it like, this is the world this show is taking place of, and this is just their life or their career is the blueprint for the character we're working with.
Yeah.
And I think that's the right method to go with if you're ever doing something like
I agree.
this.
I agree. I feel like this is definitely, like I said, like definitely this is right up there with Jackie Chan. I feel like it's a really good comparison for the two. I would like put this over something like, God, what was it wasn't, I don't know. It's some show that's in the back of my head. I'm like, this does not feel authentic, but I don't remember what it was. I want to say it was like a black character, but I don't know. But yeah. Anyway.
Who knows, man?
Yeah.
I need more details if I can give suggestions.
But of course, this is an Adult Swim show, which fits into their Adult Swim kind of adult animation vibe, the same kind of way as like Venture Bros and Space Ghost Coast to Coast, like in the OG. You know? So how do y'all feel about the comedy and animation when we're talking about those? You know.
Well, I nearly lost my shit on just their description of that episode. So I feel like I would absolutely just like fall in love with majority of the kind of jokes and episodes that they do. This sounds like the perfect kind of thing I would fall in love with. So I'm sad I haven't been able to give as much attention to it as I would like to. But yeah, you know, life gets in the way. Yeah, I need more time. I'll spend more time with it when I have more time.
Next week, Mike Tyson's Mystery Part 2.
Round 2.
So the show I was thinking of was two shows. It was Chuck Norris and Fat Albert. Those are the two I was thinking of. But to answer your question, the comedy was spot on. The comedy was, it didn't give me that okay, so I'm gonna say some hot takes. Seth MacFarlane used to be funny. Like he very well, like the first part of like Family Guy was great. Like when Stewie was on that I Hate Lois vibe and like all that, like and Brian and Stewie had musicals. That was the jam.
Where does the first part end for you? Because I think that's the real.
Probably, what did I watch up to? I don't remember exactly, but I remember like, man, how many seasons are there? 13, 14, 7, 19? I think not past season 10, like wherever that puts you. So I don't know. 2005. I don't know.
The point in which they made a spinoff.
Yes. So before the spinoffs, like I feel like post spinoffs, it wasn't fun anymore. So I feel like that pre-spinoff Seth MacFarlane was great.
Cleveland show.
Yes, but like the things like Cleveland show, I'll give you American Dad because Steve has some funny moments. But like the Cleveland show,
mostly like Roger.
Like what was that other one he did? I don't know, but like they aren't funny because they're kind of like just gag humor. The same thing with like a lot of like that show Paradise PD. I keep referencing Paradise PD, but it is god awful.
It's a good example on how not to do things.
Yes. Big Mouth.
It's a bad show.
That show about the Rangers, like who were like park rangers or something, living life out there. But those shows kind of just rely on a crude comedy and like kind of doesn't really hit. Mike Tyson Mysteries is actually satire. It's meta. It's funny. And it's like kind of low key thought provoking at the same time. It's really a whole like shell.
It's what satire is meant to be.
Yeah, the writing is good. Like the episodes are like short enough to where it doesn't like the problem with a lot of these other shows that I mentioned is there's too much time that you got to fill it up with like doing something outrageous. Mike Tyson Mysteries gives you the meat and only the meat. You don't have to worry about biting a bone because by the time you do that, like the meal's already over. So you've gotten
here's your steak. Maybe you get some potatoes with it, but you mostly get that steak.
Yeah, I don't know why.
That is dying at your analogy.
No, you said the meat, and I literally just remembered an episode where he's like, I'm going vegetarian. So I got a new license plate. It says I'm a vegetarian. I can't remember specifically what it was it said, but it said bye, guy.
It said bye. Yeah.
It said bye, guy.
I saw that one too.
Lord Jesus. But anywho, but now to answer your question, Kelz, I think the comedy was handled really well. More so in comparison, like better than Venture Brothers and Adult Team Hunger Force Go. Wait, no, that's Super
Aqua
Monkey
Team
Hyper
Hunger
Team.
Force.
Yeah, I missed Super Monkey Hyper Team Force Go with Hunger Team Force Go. The other one with the French fries.
Yeah.
Aqua Team Hunger Force.
Aqua Team Hunger Force.
Just 4 words.
There's too many forces, man. Like,
I agree with you. I think that definitely kind of that point about, other successful American adult animation shows. This is the vibe that fits for me, This is there are standards like The Simpsons.
yeah.
And like
King of the Hill.
King of the Hill is great. South Park is unique.
The Futuramas.
Futurama, yeah.
Futuramas. But it, like, personally, fucking Family Guy falls off. I would agree with you at that point.
Yeah.
Like at the point which it stops being unique. It continues to be like a money generator.
Yeah.
When
like,
it's just a parody of itself.
because at some point they made Stewie stupid. I'm like, yo, Stewie was that big brain character. That's the reason why I tuned in.
That's the thing. They know they did that.
Yeah.
There are episodes about him like experimenting on himself to make himself smart again. And it's the dumbest shit ever.
I think the last episode I saw that I was really like, wow, this is kind of good, was when they did like a theme of like a murder mystery clue type stuff. And like Diane.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
And Diane, the news reporter, was the one who did it, spoilers. And she was about to kill Lois. And like she just gets sniped from like way far out. And she's like, what? Who? Lois is like, what? Who saved me?
Whoever that is, thank you.
Yeah.
If anybody's gonna kill that bitch, it's me.
Yeah. It's like Stewie like switching out his snipers, like everybody's gonna kill that bitch, it's gonna be me. And I'm like, yo, that's and then it just went downhill after there because Brian died, came back to life with a time machine. There's another dog, Meg. I don't know, like Mila Kunis.
Literally 4 episodes later.
Yeah. So
Dumb as shit.
yeah, but like the episode of like, him actually succeeding in Lois's death, or the episode where Peter finds out he's like part black, or the Quagmire and Brian like fixed fight, or the chicken. Like, when was the last time Peter fought a chicken, man? Like, that's what we need to get back to.
They actually did an episode about that recently.
Mm-hmm.
More or less one of the newer seasons, but the past like 5 seasons are all the same fucking thing to me, so it could be any one of those.
Yeah.
And it wasn't even a real fight. It was just, hey, there's the giant chicken. He's got cancer.
Dang.
And Peter works in a hospital. Have fun with that.
Well, okay. We gotta make a petition to get rid of Strange's cats.
I don't
No!
know why she only does this.
Lock them in a room of darkness.
No, put that cat on camera. I want to see Kitty.
No, that cat is evil, and
She's
I
not
think
evil.
that cat is also.
No, all
She's just
cats are
big and
evil,
fluffy.
but
And the mic arm's in
All
the
right.
way.
Yeah, look at that cat ass. Lord.
goddamn.
I usually have to pay for this shit.
So
Alright, so
next
how
week
do
when
you
y'all do this
feel
without me,
like-
that's gonna be crazy, right?
So how do you feel like we talked a little bit about some other animation, but how do you feel like in the current vibe, with the Invincibles and the other stuff,
The
that's
Vox
going on,
Machinas
like
and
Vox
Invincibles,
Machinas,
The Simpsons, The
and-
Family Guy, it's the.
Yeah, how do you feel like Mike Tyson Mysteries levels up?
I mean, okay, so I am literally going to, at some point this year, make like a rating system of like the top to the bottom on my personal. Yes, Zog, I like to rate things for my personal enjoyment. We're all different, okay?
This is American, no S tiers, motherfucker. That's the other product.
We have double S tiers over here, boy.
No, the
Well,
exasperated
S
expression
grades.
was because I keep hearing about this. I want to do a rating system. Where is it?
At your
We've already
It's coming,
decided
yes.
on this.
Yes.
It's like Ruby, above or below.
Oh yeah, you're right.
That's
You're right.
the rating
You're right.
system.
You're right. So Mike Tyson, 8
Okay,
tiers above
That's
Ruby.
if that's where the bar is. Everything's
The only
above
thing
Ruby
below
at this
Ruby
point.
is like Caillou's like weird crackhead rap video on YouTube. It's a thing. Yeah, that's right below Ruby. But no, I would say Mike Tyson, like, because we can't compare it to like the Castlevanias. I feel like we can't compare it to the Invincibles because those are like action based. I feel like, but in the vein of like just adult animation, I feel like it's really good because it like, okay, so if we're doing adult animation by the things you can benefit from adult animation, like, you know, oh, I can curse more, I can, you know, show some tat eyes, I can do other things like that. So by that, it utilizes that to like a perfect 10, I gotta say. And it doesn't, like I said before, rely on the vomit takes or the gross things or like the, oh, we're just gonna do cocaine because we can mention cocaine. Can we mention cocaine on YouTube? Anyway, so
Yeah.
possibly bleep
We're not
that
getting
out.
paid for this shit anyway.
Yeah.
so
Look, motherfucker,
fuck
we
it,
already
man.
did it. Just
It's the
say a
Snoop
piece.
SNDOGG Snoop Dogg. Anyway, oh, I messed that up.
Oh my
Edit that
God.
out, please. So
Nope.
No.
shut up, Strange. You won't edit it anyway. Sorry, too real over here. But anyway, no, I'd say that this is really real. Yeah, that's right. I said it.
What am I even supposed to? Anyways.
It's okay.
I don't even know what we're doing right now.
I can't wait for
agree
Finding
with you.
Content Breaker, the reunion after 8 years after we all hate each other and do all this.
After we anyway.
Well, wow. Okay.
But no, I agree with you definitely.
Yeah.
I think that this does kind of the adult humor. We can talk about, you know, mature themes and say, you know, shit, and we bleep out fuck what we say fuck anyway. You know, and you know, definitely the adult themes that allow us to broaden the horizon of comedy outside of just the childless bullshit, I think is really well done. We're not counting on the 13-year-old audience here,
yeah.
which for me,
Thank
an old
God.
fucker really enjoys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We don't
It
have
feels
to.
like it's not trying to talk down to anybody or just bring it down to that level while saying, but we like hinted at these things existing, so we're not completely for kids.
It feels like Disney
That's
let
fucking do
Samuel
it.
L. Jackson say motherfucker. That's what I feel like with Mike Tyson Mysteries.
It all right. I feel like this show came out in like 2014, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
The year I was
Okay, yeah.
born.
Ignoring that. So this is basically just like the unappreciated parent or grandparent to like all of the modern like adult cartoons kind of things. It's already done all these things. It's already doing all these things. It's just that's the one that most people aren't gonna credit with doing it,
Yeah, man.
which is kind of sad, but at least those who know of it appreciate it.
Yeah. I feel like Mike Tyson Mysteries ran so Vox Machina can run. Wait, no. I feel like
More
Mike Tyson
Invincible,
Mysteries
but okay.
walked so Vox Machina can run.
So
A little better,
I
but-
thought they rode in
Alright.
on a horseman.
They rode off
Alright.
on a horseman, Strange.
Oh, okay. Okay.
They rode in on the mystery van. Respect that blue, not at all mystery machine type of vehicle.
No,
Sir.
it's the same
Mystery
thing. They just
van.
repainted it for copyright reasons.
And put a question mark on it. You don't know.
Yeah, they took the flowers away and put the question mark.
Paint it over
Yeah.
flowers. We
I
need a
love that
Daphne
shit.
up in this, though. I will say that's the one thing we were lacking. We were lacking the hot character. Was Mike Tyson the hot
Excuse me?
character? Or was
Yes,
Ghost?
of
I'm
course.
like,
I think
who
that all
wasn't
depends
the
on
hot
you.
character?
Mm.
Who wasn't the hot character? You've got motherfucking Mike Tyson.
Mhm.
You've got Pigeon. You've got Marcus, the fucking Ghost, if that's your jam.
Okay.
And you have the trying to go to college legal Asian. Look at that commitment to the future, man. If nothing else gets you off, like, I don't know what's wrong with you. What are your goals in life? Mike Tyson? Which we got Mike Tyson in the show. He's a loop.
I mean,
all coming together.
Strange, what do you think? You haven't said anything.
I honestly, I literally thought that, like, man, this is definitely made for television. You just sit down, watch any episode, watch the episode. Mike Tyson kills God, like, just. It is just funny. Like, you don't have to watch it in any sort of order. You can watch it out of order. It's a good time. It's good. Maybe you're on the influence of something, just to sit back, relax, chill, watch episode 2 Mike Tyson Mysteries.
We know you support that medical bill, Strange.
If you don't, we'll come to your house and smoke it up like your neighbor.
I gotta go to church on Friday, so.
On Friday.
Friday? Okay. Is that because you don't like crowds?
No, I'm so dedicated. I come Friday and I don't leave till Sunday at 12. Sorry.
2 days early, the day before Latter-day Saints, and then a day after the Sunday, the day,
Yeah.
Gosh.
Anyways, I think we all had a mostly good time with Mike Tyson's Mysteries. I'm glad it exists. This comedy is my jam, and embrace.
It made me want to, like,
so dark,
low key rewatch like Venture Bros, Archer, like all those other shows, like
Frisky Dingo.
Maybe.
It's the
in some reason,
that one,
for some weird reason, it made me want to rewatch also 2 shows that, like, I feel like a lot of people didn't watch. One of those were freaking Martin Mystery, which was a Nickelodeon show that was kind of good, And the second one was Kappa Mikey. I'm like, I finished this and I was like, why do I want to watch Kappa Mikey now? Like, what?
Like, just look at the theme song. That will give you the fix you want for that.
Kappa Mikey hoed me because it was never finished. And
yeah,
it's never gonna be.
It was so progressive, man. It was
start
so
a petition.
Like, he was an American cartoon who moved to Japan and everything else was an anime style and he was an American style. It was great.
I like how everybody else in that show was like a different anime style.
Yes. Lily Moo, bruh. Hey, Lily Moo.
Oh my god.
It's great. It was great.
The writing was kind of lazy, but the rest of it was actually pretty fun.
Yo, we're putting Kappa Mikey on the list next quarter, y'all.
No.
It's happening.
Hey, we're not promising that.
I'm promising it. If you can't find it here,
Frisky Dingo on the list next quarter.
I mean, might as well. We've already put this and Beastars on the list. So what else? And Centaur World. I get mine. I get my one. Screw all y'all. Doing Kappa.
Nobody's fucking with your one. We watch fucking Mike Tyson Mysteries for me after doing all this other shit for y'all. Like, yeah, go team.
I'm mainly talking to the other 2. They know who they are.
Fuck. Go team. But definitely, I'm glad we all had a good time with Mike Tyson's Mystery after going like, what the fuck is this? And like, being kind of off-put, but like okay. having an acceptably good time. Go watch some of it, Zog. At least a couple of 2 episodes and be like,
I will definitely be watching more than that.
Yes. And
has gotten so much more anime.
There's a new question that has been posed today on Content Breaker.
What?
Does punch me energy beat out step on me energy?
I think the real question comes down to is this the best Norm McDonald episode we've ever watched? That's the real question.
I'd say it's
Okay,
Okay, one,
Very funny.
that is the real
Yeah.
question.
It's very
Two,
hilarious.
stop making up energies.
I'm not making up. I don't. Energy
I
cannot
go
be.
with
Talk. Energy cannot be destroyed or created.
you.
It's science.
It's
It
just-
already exists.
It
bruh.
becomes a
Can
new
only be
one. It
transferred.
becomes a new form, yes.
All right.
But that is not
All
what I'm
right.
saying.
Equals MC
Fuck the
squared.
bullshit. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? The punch me
Punch
energy.
me.
Mike
What?
Tyson has not for me, but I'm sure, like you said earlier, when you said he was a hot character.
Okay, no. Time out.
No.
None of the punch me energy is acceptable. Like not ever, not ever. Because oftentimes it is negatively in like you cannot consent after you have been punched in the motherfucking face. It's not the vibe,
Yeah.
guy. I
I
love
would-
you. Punch me energy is not the play ever.
I'm just saying.
I will agree with step on me energy if for nothing else, big dick energy exists. So, but punch me energy, you're gonna have to give me way more of an explanation and something else to justify it.
I'll call science between the podcasts. I'm sure like there's a whole
We'll get our
psychological thing with
researchers.
punch me energy.
Consensually.
Yeah, I mean, I mean,
Oh.
of course, everything is consensual. If it is okay, now
You know
I'm
what?
saying that.
No. Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. Shut the
we
fuck
got-
up.
we gotta hash
You bring
this
me a
out.
full ass presentation of this shit, and then we'll discuss
You
it.
act like I won't talk. You've known me long enough to know that I
No,
will.
no. I act
This
like
is
you
my
have the
TED Talk.
capability of doing it, so do it.
Okay. This is my TED talk about
I'm bringing a
punch
PowerPoint.
me energy.
I'm bringing a PowerPoint.
I need it, man. I need it. But all right, definitely enjoy some Mike Tyson Mystery. It's currently on Hulu. It's a great fucking time. Go watch it. Of course, you can catch more of us on all your podcatchers, attacking Spotify, iTunes, Amazon Podcast, at Content Breaker or YouTube, Instagram, whatever at Content Breaker as well. Gentlemen, y'all have stuff too.
Yeah, you can find me at Strangely Entertaining, where I'll be streaming on Tuesdays
Why?
and Thursdays. I like to stream games that I really don't play otherwise, like Pokemon, Subnautica, Heroes of the Storm 4, and Zelda.
I hear Pokemon has big Step on Me energy.
It does.
When you gonna play Step on Me energy Pokemon, bro?
Yes. Also, Metroid 86 is the worst game. That is from me, Strangely Entertaining. Also,
Man,
Static Streams.
Metroid 80.
Nothing. Follow him on Twitter.
Metroid 86, where they kill all the poor people.
Yes.
Yeah, I hate that game.
Yeah.
Of course, Static Dreads on Twitter because he's cool.
Thank you. Yeah.
With a
Oh,
Z.
that good shit.
Static Dreads. Yeah.
Of course, the other product at your typical Shonen Protagonist on all your podcasts too at YTSP or your typical or your TSP on Twitter. Fuck all of this. Zog,
Shame.
Fuck you. What do we have next
You
week?
two.
What do we have
We're doing
next week?
B-Stars next week.
Ah, shit. Hell yeah.
Follow me at Strangely.
I love me
Unleash-
some relationship drama with some furries, man.
Yeah.
Give me the monster girls.
Let's go.
Where the monster girls at?
Unleash your inner
Next
beast.
Next week I'll be stars.
I got some rope.
That's what
We're
I'm
on my
talking
waist.
about. Next week I'll be stars. We get weird.
That's what I needed it for. Yep.